Do you ever look around and think, wow, the world is a crazy place, and it just seems to get crazier and crazier? Ease your mind and take a break. This is Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah. We're a hub for inspirational Christian sermons, practical keys for Christian living, and Christian discussions and interviews. You'll be inspired to live the life that you were created for. Your host is a top-ranking podcaster, best-selling author, world record holder, aerospace engineer, life coach, evangelist, and founder of John Giftah International. Welcome to Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah.
As we're continuing the series on the aspect of discovering our God-given gifts and talents, in the past couple of episodes I've been talking to you on the importance of distinguishing between what is a naturally God-given talent that you have and an externally enforced acquired skill that you may be having. And I was telling you even in my episode yesterday where I told you that if you really need to go to the top, you need to work really hard. You need to spend a lot of time. And if you really need to spend a lot of time, you need to have the inspiration and the passion for that. And that is one of the things you have to remember, that when you are working on what God has given you, what God has deposited in you, the God-given natural talent, only then you will have the passion and the inspiration and the ability to go ahead and do it. Because I want to remind you again of Philippians 2 verse 13, which says, I'm just paraphrasing from different versions, you can go and check them out, which says that, God is the one who put the dreams, the desires, the passions, the longings, and the ability for you to go and fulfill your purpose. In other words, that when you talk about God's purpose for your life, you have to remember that whatever is His purpose for you, His calling for you, His area for you, you will have the passion, you will have the longing, and you will have the desire to do it. Okay, so that would happen only in the area when you work on your God-given gift and talent, and not something that is externally enforced upon you. Now, the other aspect I want to tell you why you need to focus on your natural God-given gift and talent is because only when you focus on that, you will be able to really stand out and make an impact for God's kingdom. Now, when we think about in the scripture, I want to give you an example from the life of David. Right? When you actually look at it in this regard, everybody wants to be like a David. Everybody says, I'm having David as my role model. He was able to defeat a Goliath. He was able to be a man after God's own heart. He was able to have an amazing story starting from a shepherd's field and going all the way to the throne. He's an amazing role model for a lot of us, and we keep saying, just like David was able to reach the throne, I want to reach the throne. And one of the biggest moments that we can learn from David's life is that moment in 1 Samuel chapter 17 when he is going to defeat Goliath, which is what we all want. But when we look at it, I want you to understand something very important. David's own brothers were actually in the military. In other words, they were actually trained. They were officially in the army. They had the certifications, they had the experience. Not just David's brothers, but there were so many people in the military. But here's the thing I want you to understand. Something very, very important to learn. David's brothers had the formal training and the experience, the accreditation and certifications, but you cannot tell me one achievement by any of David's brothers. They had acquired the skill to be in the army, which helped them meet their needs or probably provide for them financially. Maybe they were just surviving, but you cannot tell one achievement by any of David's brothers. But anybody, you wake them up in the middle of the night and say, David, they will always say Goliath. Why? because it's ingrained in people to see the kind of an impact that David was able to make. But what I want you to understand is David's brothers have the formal training, the formal certification, the formal experience in that field, but they were not able to make the kind of impact that a guy called David, who did not have any of that. He didn't have the formal training, he didn't have the exposure, he didn't have any of the certifications or the experience in their sense, but still David was able to make a greater impact that is resonating even thousands of years later in comparison to his brothers. Why? Why is that? Why is that? Here's the reason. Because David's brothers probably just acquired the skill by going for some certifications and trainings and experience and all those things. And that just helped them to survive. On the contrary, David was an inbuilt, inborn warrior. He had that inbuilt gift naturally given to him by God. That's why he was able to go to any extent, and he was able to make an impact that none of his brothers could make, even though they had the formal training and all those things. Now, I'm not against you going for formal training or accreditation and certification. I'm not against that. But what I'm trying to say here is that if, for example, if you look at me, okay, I'm formally trained or certified, or if you look at my degree, I'm an aerospace engineer, right? I'm an aerospace engineer. But if you were to look at my gifts, if you were to look at the places where I'm actually most successful and thriving and standing out, is not in my engineering subjects or my, curriculum or any of that. Like when you put me in a space and say, you know what, oh, you're an aerospace engineer, so you should be really good in analytics, or you should be really good in the technical things. I mean, I'll put you on the spot and say, no, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not. Just because I have the certificate doesn't make me gifted in that. You can acquire certain skills, but you can only survive, you can only go only to one place with those acquired skills. You cannot go further. If you need to go further, you have to go to a place that is fully the natural God-given gifts that God has given you. That's why none of David's brothers we can ever speak of and say that they made any great impact. Why? Because they had the training on all the formal things, but none of that can give you the amount of potential that you can get in working in your natural God-given gift. That's what I want you to understand. See, I want to make this very clear. I'm not asking you not to go for training or get any accreditation or certificates or all of that. I'm not asking you not to do that. But what I'm saying is, don't think that your certificates define your gifts. No. That's why I'm very clear when I say this. I am certificated to be an aerospace engineer, but that's not who I am, because I know my gifts. My gifts don't match with that. My gifts are in different things. And if I really need to excel and go to the top and stand out, I need to work on my God-given gifts and talents, which is naturally given. I may use those externally enforced acquired skills for certain things, for certain seasons, and for a little while, but I can never use them forever. Or if I'm just working on that, I will only survive. I will only, somehow make it through life, just crawl through life, just, somehow, way through life. I can never excel and go to the top. That's why I'm telling you guys that it is important, if you really need to go to the top and stand out like the way David was able to stand out, you need to focus on what is that inbuilt warrior. Like for when you look at David, he was an inbuilt warrior. Nobody put a gun on him and made him do what he did. He did it because it was his natural gift. That's what I want you to understand. When it is your natural God-given gift, nobody has to force you to do or to showcase it. It would come to you just naturally. I'm going to talk about that, another aspect about it in the coming episodes. But that's what I want you to remember. That God-given natural gifts will help you get some boldness and help you get some fire and passion to go and explore that you won't get if it is just an externally acquired skill. Alright, so I want to close with this. I've seen a lot of people today, especially in today's world, people who are actually making a great impact are the actual ones who have not gone for any formal training or accreditation. That actually, if you see, honestly, I don't want to name names here and create any kind of a ruckus, but if you see, I've seen even in the area of politics, people who did not have any experience whatsoever in the area of politics were able to make such an amazing impact that people who have been in that field for 40 years or 50 years could not do. But they were able to make such a great impact for the better. I know preachers who have been able to make the greatest impact on planet Earth, reaching millions of people. But they don't have the formal accreditation or anything of that sort. But God is using them because it's their area of gifting. And that's why I'm telling you, if God leads you to go and get trained and equip yourself, even I do that, okay? Like whenever God leads me, I go and equip myself in whatever things, and I keep getting better in whichever way I can. But I never ever put my gift on the certificate. Or in other words, to say, you know what, because I'm certified, I'm operating in this gift. No. The certification does not validate my gifting. My gifts, okay, are there on their own. These certifications are just like adding a cherry to the top of a cake. Alright, so I hope you're able to understand whatever I'm saying in this, because these are kind of like complex topics. I've been trying to go deep to help you all understand and to go deep in different things that the Lord has been teaching me. So we'll continue more on the aspect of discovering our God-given gifts and talents in upcoming episodes as well. Alright, I'll see you back very soon. God bless you.
You've been listening to Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah. We hope you were blessed and inspired to live the life that God has for you. Make sure to subscribe to the John Giftah YouTube channel for regular uploads of sermons, skits, interviews, and more. Follow John Giftah on Instagram for regular inspirational posts. And don't forget to check out the best-selling books written by John Giftah, Who Am I?, which will help you understand your identity, and the latest #1 bestseller, Unveil Your Purpose, helping you discover your purpose and to start walking in it. Make sure to leave a rating and review, and be sure to share it with your friends and loved ones. If you'd like to donate, you can find the PayPal link in the description. And if you'd like to invite John Giftah to speak at your event or to get more details, go to the website at www.johngiftah.com. See you on the next episode of The Fuel for the Soul with John Giftah. God bless you.
If your heart stops beating now, do you know where you're going? If you came face to face with death now, do you know where you're going? And this is not a message of condemnation. This is a message of hope. There is a God who loves you so much. He sent His only Son, Jesus Christ, to come down and pay a heavy price by shedding every drop of His blood on the cross. Thank you for dying for my sins. When you believe in Him, you have free gift of salvation for you that assures us that we will go to heaven when we die instead of suffering in hell forever. I just encourage you today to make the simple step of faith and say, Jesus, I thank you for what you did on the cross. Thank you for giving me this gift of eternal life.